Hey everyone, this is the Geeky Panda here on the Geeky Panda blog. Hey guys, another video. This is going to be talking about anime conventions. Specifically, animecons.com has recently released an article of the top 10 anime conventions in North America based on attendance. Now, as you know, as far as that goes, 2015 was definitely an interesting year. So let's get to the list. First and foremost, no-brainer, Anime Expo. It'll always be the biggest anime convention in U.S. and in North America. It just brings in so much numbers, and they were closing in on that 100K mark with 90,500 people, estimated, of course. Anime North has had 32,651, with Anime Central with 31,113. Also on that list is A-Kon, Otakon, Anime Boston for 6th place, Anime Weekend Atlanta, Anime Matsuri, SakuraCon, and last but not least, Otakon, which is at 20,210 people estimated, 14.43%, which is actually really good. Now here's to note, Otakon, they even noted this out in the article, that their attendance has dropped. And they posted down there, it's dropped by 20% from the previous year. Now, people can attribute this to the Baltimore protests, but do note that, they, pointed out in the article that, that Otakon has had issues with overcrowding and the lines, because, LineCon, obviously. That's, and also a registration rate has increased from $80 to $100 at the door, or $70 to $95 in advance, depending. Damn, there was also some stuff like information wasn't it wasn't posted until a certain time, and do know that this year in 2016 will be the last year that Otakon will be at the Baltimore Convention Center. But it's actually really interesting that Otakon has dropped down in a noticeable amount of people. Like, it was lesser than 10%, that would have been one thing, but 20% from the previous year, that's that's something here. So, 2017, we're gonna see Otakon at, the new convention center in DC area. So let's see how that happens. Of course, Anime Expo, they pointed out in the article that the, LineCon, the excessively long registration lines of Anime Expo 2014, which I remember seeing those pictures and I was like in dismay, like, holy shit. That's a LineCon. That's LineCon right there. That is totally LineCon. Also pointed out in this article, they did some things, including a graph showing you how much the anime conventions increased over time. Which again, Anime Expo is just slowly growing as well, and all the other conventions. But just again, most noticeably, Otakon is kind of like, so let's see what will happen next year. Will they bring in more, or what stuff? Seeing something happen. I've heard some people that they say Otakon is a great convention. Other people said they had enough of it. They want to go to something else. Granted, if you've been going to a convention for a long time, and it keeps getting bigger and bigger, sometimes you just want to, like I know some people said they like a small con feeling, and small conventions to them is a lot easier to manage than a big huge clusterfuck of a big major convention. So as such, it's still pretty interesting here. They also posted down at other conventions, large ones as well that didn't make it on the list. San Japan, Katsucon with 15,444, and Anime Next and the Omicron, but conventions are getting bigger. That's what basically is happening right now. Conventions are getting bigger, and obviously, it's like it's not that small. It's not a small convention anymore, folks. I can only see this going higher and higher. Like, I go to Anime Boston, and it always keeps getting bigger and bigger. And now they've started putting caps on the registration, because the convention center that I've been to, there's two of them. The one right there, I believe it's the Hyatt, and the other one right there at the Seaport area. And Anime Boston, it's becoming too big for the convention center. There is a lot of people crammed in there. And I think that those people would fare a lot better, Anime Boston-wise, in the Seaport Convention Center where PAX East is hosted, because I think that will give them a lot bigger space for them and a better venue. But as such, let's see what happens, because Anime Boston is contracted in that area for a while. So still, those it's a pretty damn good list. You know, I can only wonder what it will be like next year for next year's numbers. You know, other than the most notable ones of Anime Expo and all that stuff. So still, you know, it's interesting. Like, and it's still interesting for the Otakon thing. I'm legitimately curious to see how that will pan out. So overall, that's about it in my video. If you if you have any comments, or if you were wondering what kind of conventions you attend yourself, post down in the comment box. What do you think of the list itself to you? Do you think it's interesting that some of the numbers that you see, including Otakon's, drop? What do you think, conventions are going to keep getting bigger and bigger? Post down your opinions in the comment box. Other than that, don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And above all else, this is the Geeky Panda here on the Geeky Panda blog saying to remember, stay geeky, my friends.